1. Adaptations. 2. Adaptations. Deep. Knowledge. Strong. Action. 3. 3. Adaptations. Jongyu. Adaptation means not clinging to fixed methods, but changing appropriately according to events, acting as is suitable. Master Sun, the general rule for political, military, operations is that the political, military, leadership receives the order from the civilian leadership to gather armies. Let there be no encampment on difficult terrain. Let diplomatic relations be established at borders. Do not stay in barren or isolated territory. When on surrounded ground, plot. When on deadly ground, fight. Jiulin, being on surrounded ground means there is steep terrain on all sides, with you in the middle, so that the enemy can come and go freely but you have a hard time getting out and back. When you are on ground like this, you should set up special plans ahead of time to prevent the enemy from bothering you, thus balancing out the disadvantage of the ground. Li Quan. Place an army in a deadly situation and the soldiers will make it their own. 4. Adaptations. Master Sun, there are routes not to be followed, armies not to be attacked, citadels not to be besieged, territory not to be fought over, orders of civilian governments not to be obeyed. Li Quan, if there are narrow straits along the way and there may be ambush attacks, that road should not be taken. Du Mu, don't attack crack troops, don't try to stop a returning army, don't press a desperate enemy, don't attack a ground of death. And if you are strong and the enemy is weak, don't strike their vanguard, lest you frighten the rest into retreating. Gao Gao. It may be possible to strike an army, but not advisable, because the lay of the land makes it hard to persist. To stay there would mean loss of further gains, present gains would in any case be slight, and a desperate army will fight to the death. When a citadel is small and secure, and has plenty of supplies, then do not besiege it. When a territory is of marginal benefit and is as easy to lose as it is to win, then don't fight over it. When it is a matter of expediting your work, don't be limited to the commands of the civilian leadership. 5. Adaptations. Du Mu, Weilizi said, weapons are instruments of ill omen, conflict is a negative quality, warrior leaders are officers of death with no heaven above, no earth below, no opponent ahead, no ruler behind. Master Sun, therefore generals who know all possible adaptations to take advantage of the ground know how to use political, military, forces. If generals do not know how to adapt advantageously, even if they know the lay of the land they cannot take advantage of it. If they rule armies without knowing the arts of complete adaptively, even if they know what there is to gain, they cannot get people to work for them. Jia Yuan. Even if you know the configuration of the land, if your mind is inflexible you will not only fail to take advantage of the ground but may even be harmed by it. It is important for generals to adapt in appropriate ways. If you can change with the momentum of forces, then the advantage does not change, so the only ones who get hurt are others. Therefore there is no constant structure. If you can fully principle, you can get people to work. 6. Adaptations. Adaptation means things like avoiding a convenient route when it is realized that it has features that lend themselves to ambush, not attacking a vulnerable army when it is realized that the army is desperate and bound to fight to the death, not besieging an isolated and vulnerable city when it is realized that it has abundant supplies, powerful weapons, smart generals, and loyal administrators, so there is no telling what might happen, not fighting over territory that could be contested. When it is realized that even if it were won it would be hard to keep, it would be of no use anyway, and it would cost people life and limb, not following the directives of the civilian government, which ordinarily should be followed, when it is realized that there would be disadvantage and consequent harm in direction from behind the lines. These adaptations are made on the spot as appropriate, and cannot be fixed in advance. Greed for what can be gained means taking any shortcut, attacking any isolated army, besieging any insecure city, contesting any territory that can be taken, taking command of any serviceable army. If you are greedy for what you can get from these things and do not know how to adapt to changes such as outlined above, not only will you be unable to get people to work, you will destroy the army and wound the soldiers. 7. Adaptations. Master son, therefore the considerations of the intelligent always include both benefit and harm. As they consider benefit, their work can expand; as they consider harm, their troubles can be resolved. Hoyanxi, benefit and harm are interdependent, so the enlightened always consider them. Master son, therefore what restrains competitors is harm, what keeps competitors busy is work, what motivates competitors is profit. Zhang Yu, put them in a vulnerable position and they will surrender on their own. Another strategy is to cause rifts in their ranks, causing harm by wearying them and putting the people out of work. Du Mu, wear enemies out by keeping them busy and not letting them rest. But you have to have done your own work before you can do this. This work means developing a strong militia, a rich, harmonious society, and an orderly way of life. Master son. So the rule of political, military, operations is not to count on opponents not coming, but to rely on having ways of dealing with them, not to count on opponents not attacking, but to rely on having what cannot be attacked. 8. Adaptations Hoyanxi, if you can always remember danger when you are secure and remember chaos in times of order, watch out for danger and chaos while they are still formless and prevent them before they happen, this is best of all. Master son, therefore there are 5 traits that are dangerous in generals: those who are ready to die can be killed, those who are intent on living can be captured, those who are quick to anger can be shamed, those who are puritanical can be disgraced, those who love people can be troubled. Gao Gao, those who are brave but thoughtless and insist on fighting to the death cannot be made to yield, but they can be struck by ambush. Meng Shi, when the general is timid and weak and intent on getting back alive, his heart is not really in the battle and his soldiers are not really keen. Both officers and troops are hesitant, so they are vulnerable to attack and capture. 9. Adaptations. Gao Gao, quick-tempered people can be lured into coming to you by anger and embarrassment, puritanical people can be lured into coming to you by slander and disgrace. And if you appear in a place they are sure to rush to defend, those who love the people there will invariably hasten there to rescue them, troubling and wearying themselves in the process. Master son, these 5 things are faults in generals, disasters for political, military, operations. Chen Hao, good generals are otherwise, they are not committed to death yet do not expect to live, they act in accord with events, not quick to anger, not subject to embarrassment. When they see possibility, they are like tigers, otherwise they shut their doors. Their action and inaction are matters of strategy, and they cannot be pleased or angered. 10. Adaptations. Working applied rules that govern victory. 11. Adaptations. Victory. Victory. Victory.